And back to Word from the Hood. I'm just kidding, folks. This is not Coach Hood's own show yet. This is, though, the ETBU Coaches Show with head baseball coach Jared Hood. And, Coach, your team has been on a fantastic run as of late. Came away with a 2-0 sweep against Hendrix to start the week last week, and then ended it with a 3-0 sweep against Belhaven, which, even though it was a sweep on the weekend, it was a very hard-fought, tough game for you guys to have to close out. First, we'll start with the Hendrix game. What did you see there that you really liked as a head coach from your team?
Well, so with Hendrix, they were coming in as a really hot team. They were ranked in one poll, receiving votes in other polls, and just playing really, really good baseball. And to have two midweek games like that, the one thing that's going to be tested always is your pitching staff. So the big thing for us was we had different guys, take really, really big parts in helping us out, in 8 innings, and did a really good job coming in. Guy that comes into mind is, Zach Pierce coming in, getting his second start of the year. I think he gave us 6 or 7 innings of quality pitching. And then just the multiple bullpen guys that come in, and Finley coming in to close one game out. That's always nice to have him in the back end. It was a hard fought couple of games, especially for midweek.
Absolutely, and that game against Hendrix particularly, you guys had some really big hits. It was very high scoring as usual for you guys, but you kind of touched on it, but how tough is it overall to have 5 games within a week stretch, 5 games in 7 days, pretty much for you guys? How tough is that for you?
It's really tough, but honestly, everything that we try to do is to prepare us come tournament time. And, when you play in the conference tournament, you're going to face the same kind of thing. You need to lengthen your bullpen out. You need to see who those guys are that when you get into crunch time, who those guys are that can handle a start on the mound. And then also to put your position players through, that type of physical regimen, to see how they're going to respond, how they're going to react to that. So 5 games in 5 days, you got away with 5 wins. We'll take it.
Absolutely, and especially getting down to ASC time, you guys matched up with Belhaven, and as I said, it was a 3-0 sweep, but they were 2 of the 3 games were extremely hard fought back and forth. In fact, first game you found yourselves down 7-3, then had to score 5 straight runs to win it. Talk about that game, how close it was, and how tough of an opponent Belhaven turned out to be for you guys.
Well, the first couple of games, we didn't really help ourselves out a whole lot at the beginning. Put ourselves behind the 8 ball a little bit, but baseball is one of those games. There's no clock. You've got to make all the outs, and I knew we had enough time, and I knew we had the offensive approach to be able to come back and get it done, and the kids did too. There was no panic. Everybody was cool, calm, and collected, and we just started stringing things together, and continued to put pressure on their defense. First of all, though, they threw 3 quality arms at us. Those guys had some good stuff and really kept us off balance. First time through the order, we couldn't touch them. Second time through the order, we kind of sprayed some stuff around. But then third time through the order, it was good to see those adjustments that we were able to make. We were able to get some good pitches to hit. And we continued to pitch it well. How guys, when you've got a guy like Alec Ariano that just comes to mind, that he totally changed the momentum of the game when he came in, and just came in and started throwing strikes, keeping them off balance, got us out of a big jam. And then, with the offensive approaches, Casey Combs and those kind of guys, our lineup, and just the leadership and the maturity that those guys are showing in the game to come out with some wins like that is really impressive. And that's a big thing for us right now is, good teams have to win games like that. You have to figure out how to come back from some games, even when you're not playing your best baseball, and to win some of those close games. And we were able to do that, so it was really nice to see.
Absolutely. And speaking of Casey Combs getting the D3 hitter of the week this past week, his leadership has been great. But from a coach's perspective, what type of leader is Casey Combs for this team, and how important is it for his role for the success of this team?
Well, I mean, you're talking about a catcher that catches 3 games in a weekend, and that's not because we don't have anybody else, but that's just because of how important Casey is in our lineup, into the dynamic of our team. So when you talk about leadership, number one, it's by example. He's a guy that their attention is just drawn to him. Everybody's going to watch and see how he reacts to certain situations or how he plays the game. And one thing about Casey, I mean, come game time, he's going to give you everything he's got. But then on the other side of that, he's a guy that's not afraid to speak up and say what's on his mind. And that's really where I think Casey has evolved in his leadership skills, is understanding how to talk to people, how to express what's on his mind. And the guys have really responded to that, and they follow him to a T. And he's not the only one we have, but he's really one this past week that really kind of put the offensive approach on his back, and we were able to do a lot of things. And that's, all of that being said, he had one of the worst games that he's had on this past Tuesday, and he was still able to get ASC Hero of the Week and make the D3 baseball team of the week, and we're proud of him. That's great for him. But when you've got guys like Zach Gardner, Seth McKeska, and then Landon Barnes and Faulkner and Singletary, and all those guys that are behind you, it really takes the pressure off of any one guy in that lineup. So it's been a collective team effort, especially on the offensive side, and that's leaked into the pitching side as well.
And speaking of that pitching, that was actually a perfect segue for my next question for you.
You like that? I did that for you.
Absolutely. And so Adrian Stover stepped up on the mound this weekend, almost pitched the entire 9 innings, and I was asking him, I was like, man, why'd you come out? I wanted to see you pitch the whole 9, but Call did a great job of helping close the door there in that sequence. But Adrian Stover, again, almost pitching all 9. When was the last time you had a pitcher do that and not surrender any runs until the top of the 9th?
Well, when you're talking about a freshman, going out there and not only that, but his first collegiate start, getting a start on a conference weekend. We had a good feeling with Stover. He's been a guy that has seen some time out of the pen and has done a really good job of just commanding the strike zone and forcing contact. And I felt like that, especially in a Game 3 scenario, we needed just a little bit of change of pace. We needed a guy to come in and to really pound the zone. And that's what he was able to do, and forced a lot of early contact. I think, going into the 8th inning, he was still under 90 pitches, and then got 2 quick outs right back to back. And, in true freshman form, just lost just a little sense of focus. Gave up the 3 or 4 runs there in the bottom of the 9th. And, for us as a coaching decision, it's nothing against him at all. But when you're playing here at Woods Field and you've got the wind blowing 10 to 15 miles an hour out, and another team starts to get a little bit of momentum, you're going to shut it down pretty quick. And, and I felt like that he had gone as far as he needed to and had done exactly what we needed him to do. And that was his longest outing, in a while. So we just had to get called in there to get that last out and to get the W and to secure that. So awfully proud of that kid and the effort that he gave us that day. That's for sure.
Absolutely, and we were all excited just watching. And I'm just seeing all the zeros across the board, no runs until the top of the ninth, of course. But he definitely did do a fantastic job. Did a fantastic job in the post-game interview as well.
Yeah.
By the way, felt like he was ready for that.
He's a good kid.
Yeah, absolutely. And so this weekend, you guys are taking on Southwestern, taking a little bit of break from ASC play. However, still a tough matchup nonetheless. So what is something in particular that you and your team are going to kind of want to zero in on this week facing this opponent?
For me, it's our starting pitching. We've got to get back on track with our starting pitching. And along with that comes defensive play and all of that. And we've just got to compete in the strike zone and throw strikes and force early contact. With Finley, we feel pretty good about that. Underwood's come in and done a nice job. And then, with Stover or if it's Zach Pierce or whoever we decide to go with on game 3, it's, the same deal. So, we've got a lot of options. We're probably going to throw a lot of arms just to get some work in. But bottom line, we want to compete at a high level. We're playing here at home. We've got a quality opponent in Southwestern coming in. They've been doing a really good job this year, winning some games. And that's what you want out of your season. You want to go out and you want to play teams that are doing well and play those quality opponents and see how you match up. We've been doing that all year. That's kind of been our mindset for the last couple of years, is to go out and find the best teams that we can to bring in here and go travel and play those best teams and those good programs to really kind of establish what we're trying to do and to get the conversation rolling. So we're excited to get with those guys and to play that weekend series. So it'll be a good one.
Absolutely, and we're definitely looking forward to it. We'll be here to cover it as well. And you can keep up with all things ETBU sports related at goetbutigers.com or follow us on social media at goetbutigers. Once again, Mark T. Robinson with head baseball coach Jared Hood. We'll be back on the ETBU Coaches Show with another coach. You'll see who it is.